This Week in Startups is brought to you by Wordpress. Get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to wordpress.com/twist to create your website and find the plan that's right for you. DigitalOcean, providing the easiest cloud platform to deploy, manage, and scale applications. Sign up today and receive a free $100 credit at do.co/twist. And Campaign Monitor, email marketing platform used by more than 250,000 businesses worldwide. Try Campaign Monitor for free at campaignmonitor.com/twist. Listeners who sign up and become a customer receive a free t-shirt.
Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis, and this is the podcast where we talk about startups and entrepreneurship. And of course, funding these startups is critical because high growth startups need capital in order to grow. And today on the program, I'm super excited that Ken Nguyen is with us. He is the co-founder and CEO of Republic, which launched in 2016. Previously, of course, he was the general counsel at AngelList, which is where I got to know him. And Republic, which you can go visit at republic.co, is an equity crowdfunding site. And what that means is it's not just for accredited investors, and we're going to get into that delineation and how that's changing here in the United States. As part of today's program, Ken and I are going to give feedback to 3 founders that are currently launching on Republic, which again, if you follow them on Twitter, it's Join Republic, and the website is Republic, REPUBLIC.co.
Thank you so much, Jason. It's wonderful to be here.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while.
And it's been 4 or 5 years now.
4 or 5 years, and you launched Republic 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. It's been going pretty well. How many companies have raised funding how many people have raised funding on Republic?
Out of about 3,000 applications in the past 2 years, we've launched and closed about 6. Since we've just launched a couple more over the weekend, I don't have the exact number down.
Got it. But so dozens
60.
of people have gone through it, over 60.
Yes.
And in order to raise money on the platform, what does one need to do to clear market? Because if you've run 60 through the system, I'm assuming that you've pick those 60 from an application pool that is 10 times, 100 times larger?
50 times larger.
50 times larger.
Yep.
So 3,000 people applied, 1 in 50 make it through the process. What does it take to get listed on Republic?
So we do apply almost like a venture lens, credibility, domain expertise, product market fit, traction, but there's an added lens, which is, would this company be able to raise from the crowd? Is it relatable to everyday people? Because we don't want to launch a really strong company, but doesn't have that relatability. And we'll be wasting everyone's time. So that added lens on relatability is rather unique.
So they have to have the product launched. They have to have some traction, which makes sense because there's so many companies and people with ideas. Where do the people with ideas go in today's market?
You don't even need to have a product launched. If they have a really strong community, but pre-launch, crypto projects nowadays is a good example.
Right.
So if they have that community, we can help them harness that community.
Got it.
If they don't have that community yet, and it's a really strong company that we find relatable, then we help them reach strangers, the crowd, and get them to invest.
So you will launch something that is not yet launched in public, but that's taking on a lot more risk, isn't it? And how does one, as an investor, decide to make an investment in a company that doesn't have their product in the market yet? How would you advise a civilian in how to do that?
I think you mentioned in your book, which I love and have it on my coffee table for all guests, but early stage investing is highly risky. The earlier it is, the riskier it is, but the higher the return. And the one interesting thing about Republic is that it allows for very small amount of investment. It can be $20, $50, $100.
Got it.
But people gotta invest with the understanding that this is likely total loss of capital, and there's some chance of it doing very well.
How many investments does a new investor have to make in order to have a reasonable chance at an overall return? In other words, you can't expect in a category where 70 or 80% of the startups fail that you'll invest in one and you happen to hit the home run. So how many investments would you advise a family member, a friend, or people visiting Republic to do?
This is another lesson that I think I learned from reading your book, and diversification is key.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick the right number. It may be 10, it may be 20. Certainly 1 is not the right number. Even 5 is not the right number.
Right.
It has to be more than that. But pick companies that you feel passionate about, that you like the story, and then trying to, do at least 10, 20, small amounts, but in a vast portfolio.
And yeah, I would agree with that. If we know 5 is too few to get to diversity, and if you're doing 500, that would be so many that you would just be an index.
Right.
So in order to pick and become good at picking, I think the number I advise people is at least 20, probably more like 30 or 40, because I know the chances of hitting a unicorn or a big outcome, it just can't happen usually in your first 10 or 20 investments, because that's when you're learning. So small amounts first, and then you can always go bigger. So you could always go bigger, right?
You can always go bigger, but like your syndicate backers have you as a validation signal. You have already done the curation, the checking, the due diligence. We do a lot of that, of course. 1 in 50 would qualify to launch. But we don't have yet that influencer on the platform to provide credibility for people. So I would say that projects on Republic indeed are riskier than those in your portfolio. So if you pick your number at 20 or 30, it may even be a little bit higher.
Right, 30 or 40,
for a marketplace, a platform.
And what happens in due diligence on Republic? Tell us about that package and what is the process, both as a founder who might apply, but also as somebody who's new to angel investing and wants to know, what did you do to say these 49 are not ready and this one is? What is the process of due diligence at Republic?
So there's one document that any startup that wants to really apply and be considered seriously must have, and that's a good pitch deck. If you haven't put that together and put in the time to describe how the value proposition, then you're not there just yet. So based on that pitch deck, we're going to take a look and on our own, validation and an estimation on the credibility and the likelihood of success. So we'll usually have multiple calls and meetings with every single applicant that fit that lens. And through that process, again, apply our own subjective lens that this is, eligible to launch.
How much does the founder's background have to do with your acceptance criteria? If the person is from an alumni of Uber or Facebook or Tesla, or went to Stanford or MIT, does that give them extra credibility and make them more fundable in your mind? Or do you not look at the actual individuals and the team members' history?
I think the background of the team, founder's background, is probably the most important element for us when we look at a very early stage company.
Got it. So for the early stage ones where there's not traction,
exactly,
you're going to look at the founder's LinkedIn and resume.
Of course. Yeah. And, being a YC alum or having founded and exited another startup, these things mean a great deal. But the whole point of us launching Republic is so that we can provide founders outside of the normative lens of VC, so that perhaps, that single mom who hadn't had any startup experience and would never be funded by a VC, get the interest of the community, get that $100,000 and get her product and company to a point where you or A16Z or Sequoia would look at.
Got it. So this, in some ways, some of the deal flow will be people who haven't been able to get into Y Combinator yet, and you hope the small amount of money, 100K, 200K, 50K even, 150K that they raise on Republic could be the start of them getting a prototype, getting a couple of customers, and getting to YC. Am I hearing that correct?
Absolutely. I think that first $50,000 is the biggest barrier to entrepreneurship for people with good ideas.
What has the range this year been? What's the median raise? What's the high? What's the low?
It's hard to pinpoint a informative medium because we do help very late stage companies, relatively late stage startups fundraise. But we've, closed 3 or 4 deals at the $1 million mark, the maximum you can raise from retail. And then for very earlier projects.
So what was the maximum at retail?
$1.07 million.
Got it.
So no startups can raise today from everyday people on Republic more than $1.07 million.
And that's part of the SEC's regulations to protect investors.
And we're working very hard to lift that threshold a little bit higher.
Could you raise $1 million in one financing, have them work for a year, hit some milestones, and then at another valuation, hopefully a higher one, raise another $1 million?
Absolutely. In fact, a startup can raise from VCs or from your syndicate in parallel with a Republic campaign. So the two are not mutually exclusive.
And so people know, this is an amazing statistic, but 44% of the founders on Republic were female founders, compared to the industry, about 13% or so. And 25% of the investments on Republic have been for founders of color versus a very low 1% for the industry. And I know those numbers are changing and they're, it's a moving target, but how were you able to, triple the number of female founders you invested in 20x, 25x the number of underrepresented founders?
I would say a component of that is presenting startups that we think have a compelling stories with resilient founders. And it turns out that the investor population demographics are very much open to investing into founders outside of Silicon Valley, founders who didn't, go to YC or didn't exit. So I think it's just a matter of presenting a spectrum of people with good ideas and getting everyday investor to support.
Okay, we're going to get to meet these companies right after the break, but before we do, I want to let people know that Republic and Ken and I are hosting Founder University in November, speaking of diversity, November 5th, 6th, and 7th here in San Francisco, and we'll have 60 underrepresented founders at the event, picked from, we guess, 400 or 500 applicants, and the deadline to apply is coming up on October 5th. You can go to founder.university/November, founder.university/November. Very easy to remember URL, founder.university/November, to apply for Founder University. That is a course that we teach for free to founders. And in this case, this is our underrepresented cohort where we try to find people who are underrepresented in funded startups. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a really enjoyable event. Okay, when we get back, we're going to meet 3 companies. They're all currently on Republic.
Correct.
And one of them, which I will not tell you until the end, I am already an investor in. However, you're going to get to see all 3. And I'm going to give my trademark candid feedback. Ken is going to give his trademark kind feedback. You're the blue pill. I'm the red pill. I'm going to be harsh and critical. And then for all of you listening at home, I want you to try to guess which one of the 3 companies I've already invested in. It's a game show for all you folks at home.
Exciting.
All right, when we get back on This Week in Startups. I've been using WordPress.com for over a decade, and I love it. It is the greatest way for you to build a website right now. And every business needs one. Let me show you how quick and easy this is. I'm going to hit space right now and play a video. This is a video my CMO Presh made. And you can see he went to WordPress.com/twist. Very important to go to WordPress.com/twist. And you see he made shopjason.com. And he signs up, zip, picks a store theme, because you can do commerce now with WordPress. And then he picks a template, and it is gorgeous. And here he is creating a custom theme and using one of the custom themes rather. And he's going to build his own shirt and start selling the Jason Calacanis shirt. Boom. It's so easy. It's so simple. This has been sped up a little bit, obviously. But my CMO created a fan-based shirt for all of you to go shop. It's a limited edition Jason shirt. And you can go to shopjason.com to buy it. It is hilarious. And you can just pay, put PayPal in there, bing, zip, $45. And who's getting that money? That's what I want to know. And you can see him just loading it up and building it super easy. The reason we made that quick video is because sometimes people think it's complicated. It is not complicated. WordPress.com/twist is so easy. They guide you through the whole process as you just saw, and they take care of all the technical stuff, and you'll get your site up and running so quickly. Calacanis.com and thisweekinstartups.com all run on WordPress for a reason. And you can come to their website now and pay as little as $4 a month. Customer support is available 24 hours a day, Monday through Fridays, and on weekends. You see that pause there? I gotcha. You thought it was just Monday through Friday. Nope, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to wordpress.com/TWIST for This Week in Startups, wordpress.com/twist, and create your website. WordPress.com/twist for 15% off your brand new website. Whether it's your personal site, your portfolio, your startup, your blog, whatever it is you need to make, a shop, you can get it done super quick, super easy, and make it look professional by going to wordpress.com/twist. Thanks again to the team at WordPress for making awesome websites. 28% of all websites run on WordPress. Crazy statistic, but true. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jason. With me today, Ken Nguyen from Republic. You can follow Ken. He's Kendrick ESQ. As an Esquire. Are you an attorney?
I am. Was.
You were an attorney. Good reason, good thing, because you were the general counsel of AngelList. It would be really stupid on their part to hire a general counsel without a law degree.
I'm still licensed.
I was testing you. Apparently, it's true. Okay, we promised to share with you 3 companies from Republic, and these are, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, all currently raising on Republic.
Indeed, they are.
Okay, so if a person went to republic.co, they could read the deal memos, watch the videos, et cetera, and perhaps, if they are so inclined, make a bet in the most thrilling and dangerous and exciting casino in the world, the one known as Silicon Valley. Okay, first up is Amanda Greenburg from Balloonr. And remember, I was going to tell you all that I've invested in one of these 3 companies, and it's your job to figure out which one? Okay, Amanda Greenburg from Balloonr. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Balloonr, no E.
Yeah.
And you have 2 minutes on the clock to present. 3, 2, go.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Greenburg. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Balloonr. Before founding Balloonr, I was a researcher, and it was really in that role that I noticed this huge problem with the way that we work. Our business tools and processes don't address the way our brains actually work in a group setting. So email, Slack, and meetings don't really take those things into account. So leadership, or those with the loudest voices, have a disparate say in decisions or in solutions. And people hold back their best ideas or their most valuable and authentic feedback because of a fear of failure or judgment. And this costs companies billions in really bad decision-making, stalled innovation, and wasted time. So we built Balloonr, an anonymous collaborative platform that cuts through the most costly cognitive biases and accelerates time to wisdom. Here's how it works. So someone sends a set of questions to a group. That group then goes together through a special stage flow where they're anonymously submitting, discussing, and voting up the top balloons, which are ideas or feedback or information. They do this without titles, identities, pleasantries, or courtesies getting in the way, and also without groupthink. Then they see the top information, the top ideas, the top feedback, and they also are able to remove anonymity at the end. So although it's anonymous start to finish, users are incentivized to participate knowing that they can get credit. These are some of our paying customers. So Balloonr is used by teams and companies of all different sizes across many different industries, from Capital One, Google, Esurance, BMW, et cetera. We're selling SaaS subscriptions, and we're landing and expanding. We're at around $250K in ARR, projected to hit $500K in Q4 of this year, with a $3.7 million pipeline, majority of which has been inbound. And our customers are really seeing the power, saying that they're shocked by the humanness of information shared on Balloonr, and that once you use Balloonr, it's impossible to imagine doing things an old way. And the opportunities in front of us are huge. So we're servicing a new, unique, critical data set. So the big opportunity is a platform play leveraging our true data set, which to date has been unreachable. I'm Amanda. We're Balloonr. We're ballooning unreachable knowledge. Thank you so much.
Okay, well done. We'll give her a little golf clap here.
Thank you.
All right, that's a little bit too much, okay? Golf clap is when you do it tiny in your palm of your hand, okay? Take it easy back there in the control room. She get the standing ovation when she takes the company public. Ken, you've already seen this company because they're on your platform. I'll just give some general feedback on the pitch to start because people generally like that, Amanda. The pitch needs a little bit of work. I understood what it is by the end, but in the beginning, you framed a problem, which was essentially people don't get credit or the best ideas sometimes get squashed. But then you get into an example of how Balloonr works, but there's no specific example. And when you keep a presentation generic, then you're putting the onus on the investors and the audience to fill in the example. This would be a much more powerful example if you said, here's BMW, they're one of our customers, here's Disney, they're one of our customers, and they were asking if you could add a food type to Disneyland and Disney World, to our amusement parks, what food is missing? So that conversation would typically have the senior vice president of food saying, we don't have this, and then everybody saying, oh yeah, great, high five. But what if the person who worked at the gate, who's in the park every day, overheard people, or the person who works at the pizza place overhears people saying all the time that they wish they had a gluten-free option or they wish they had salads, whatever it is. And then here's an idea that people had never heard of, crepes. Oh my God, they have a lot of French attractions. Crepes are handheld, crepes are high margin. Why the heck don't they have crepes in Disneyland? In fact, this shows you how powerful this platform actually is. Because what I just convinced myself of is how brilliant this company is by saying, because I would love a crepe. Wouldn't you love a crepe?
Right now, especially.
I feel like we should go for crepes after this. And they're handheld and it'd be great. So always use a specific example. Then you had this beautiful metrics underneath the example, your made up example, which didn't even have an example, your generic overview of how the product works, the product rundown. And you never sportscasted and told us what that metric said, which just left me wanting to know what it is. Underneath the balloons, there were some metrics. And the risk score, you kind of just went through that. That seemed to be kind of the meat and potatoes of the of the product and presentation. One little caveat I'll give you is, hey, listen, that's respectable annual run rate. But then you put up the soft metric of pipeline. Pipeline, and talking about your pipeline and who's going to buy your product and your total addressable market is for people who don't have traction. You have impressive traction. Take out the pipeline. You're way past that. Pipeline is BS. Give the specific, we sold this amount this quarter, or here's our average sale size. Get more into reality. Show your projections maybe. That's fine. Here's what we've sold by month, by week, by quarter, and here's what we project to do. Anytime you start getting into fake stuff, features you're going to add, customers you want to have, pipeline that you haven't closed, it reduces credibility. And we're all in the game, both as investors and founders and human beings, of building our credibility. Ken, why did you pick this company for Republic?
And I've just learned a few things from listening to Jason. So from my end, knowing that this is coming up, I purposely not refreshing myself with what you're doing to give a more authentic, experience. But traction at this early stage, the fact that you've managed to execute on it so well, I think is amazing. And to Jason's point, I thought it was very succinct, but would love some visual on that traction in a graph and perhaps some projection. That's something that people easily remember and see.
When you see a projection, that means the person has a plan. That means you have confidence in the person. When you ask a founder, how much money are you going to make next year? And they're like, yeah, that depends. Well, that's a founder without a plan. But if a founder says, we did 500K this year, and we want to triple that next year to 1.5, and we need 750K in order to hire 4 salespeople and 2 SDRs and a customer success person, now you're like, whoa, who are you going to invest in? You're going to invest in the person who's got a plan. It's like, we're going to go west. Really? How many lemons and how much water is going to be on the boat? Not sure. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm getting on that boat to America. But if Christopher Columbus has 3 boats and a lot of provisions, maybe I'll go on that boat because it sounds like he had a plan. All right, well done.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, and Jason, to your question earlier about founder's background, Amanda has an amazing story and her team really has domain expertise. I would have loved to see that convey a bit more. Which is always a difficult thing to do.
To
squeeze in
2
a
minutes.
couple minutes,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think that just relates to the audience, whoever maybe a little bit more.
And also for people who are listening, when you pulled up the set of logos, those are all customers who are paying for your product.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty impressive list. It was like BMW, I think I saw, and was it Disney up there too? So like something's going on with this company where they've got Disney and BMW, even if it's for a low dollar amount. Okay, let's give a big golf clap
Thank
for
you so much.
Amanda from Balloonr, which is Balloonr. All right, we'll take a quick break, and next up, 2 more companies. And remember, you're going to try to guess which company Jason Calacanis has already invested in when we get back on This Week in Startups. If you're a startup, you need to have the most reliable, the fastest, and the most affordable infrastructure. And that's where DigitalOcean comes in. They provide the easiest cloud platform to deploy, manage, and scale your applications. 150,000 businesses in the world use them and love them. And Inc. called them one of the world's fastest growing startups. You can rely on DigitalOcean to remove infrastructure friction and deliver industry-leading price and performance. DigitalOcean is, of course, built by developers for developers, and they have a huge learning community with tons of resources and tutorials. And boy, do we have a great deal for you today. If you sign up, you'll receive a $100 credit at do.co.twist. do.co/TWIST. And here is an amazing testimonial from Content Ignite. Since moving to DigitalOcean, our setup is ultimately more capable than what we had before the migration. Downtime has become a rarity, and our hosting costs have decreased by more than 90%. What? Yes, that's right. You're going to get predictable, straightforward billing. You'll always know what you're going to pay. And the flat pricing structure across all data centers and regions makes it even more affordable. Customers love this. You remember Mitch Weiner called into This Week in Startups back in 2010. That's right, 8 years ago. He was working in marketing, and he asked me my advice. I said, go to Techstars and find some co-founders and create something you're passionate about. Well, that's DigitalOcean. And he called back in 2014. He was a guest, actually, on the program, after they raised $37 million from Andreessen Horowitz. So it's very special for me to have DigitalOcean on the podcast and be a supporter of this podcast, This Week in Startups. It's full circle. 8 years ago, Mitch came on the podcast. So crazy. Anyway, if you want to sign up, and I recommend you do, you'll receive a $100 credit. So go ahead and grab that $100 credit while you can. do.co/twist. do.co/twist. And you will love DigitalOcean. We use it. We love it. It's amazing. Many of my startups are using it, and it's just fabulous. So go ahead and check out do.co/twist and get that $100 credit and get in there and start using that really easy to use, manageable, scalable, and affordable cloud service. There you go. Okay. Thanks again, DigitalOcean. We appreciate your support. Okay, let's get back to this amazing podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis, an angel investor here in the Silicon Valley. My guest today is Ken Nguyen. He is the co-founder and CEO of Republic. You may have known him as the general counsel of AngelList back in the day. And we're looking at 3 companies currently raising money on republic.co. That's the .co. First up was Amanda from Balloonr, and next we have Alex from Ring4. Ring and the number 4. Alex, are you nervous?
I am totally nervous.
Good. That's a good, healthy sign. Now you have 2 minutes on the clock to fight for your life. Of course, you're raising money on republic.co right now, so if people want to evaluate Ring4, they can go do that at republic.co/Ring4. And as you all know, Republic was launched in 2016 when the SEC enacted the Title III of the Jobs Act, which allowed non-accredited investors, i.e. 95% of the country, most people, to invest in startups. So anybody can invest as little as $20 in these companies, or $25, something like that. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, go.
So Ring4 is a second phone number app. And we're going to talk about our target market, and we'll take the example of Bob, who is an entrepreneur, and he's setting up his business, and obviously he wants to make it big. But Bob is not alone. He's actually part of a big mega trend. People are leaving the corporates and they are starting up their business. There's going to be 40% of the workforce in 2020 who is going to be self-employed. And they all gonna need some basic infrastructure. And one of these infrastructure is our interface to the world. So it's pretty easy to get a domain. It's pretty easy now to get an email. It's $5 a month. It's now getting easier to get an address and an office. It's being disrupted by companies like WeWork. But still, when you want a phone line, you usually will hesitate twice before you go and take a second phone as a carrier plan. And why is that? First, you don't want to carry two phones. Like, nobody wants two cell phones right now. And plus, you're going to spend with a carrier about $700 per year as an average. So we think we can do better. And we have created Ring4, which is a smartphone number app where you only pay $10 a month. And I'm going to demo it to you. So with Ring4, in only a few seconds, if the demo is okay to start. All right. So in a few seconds, you're going to create a phone number. You can create a phone number in 7 countries. It's picking up a number for you right now. You can even select your area code in the US, and boom, your app is ready for business. You can use it for business, of course. You can use it for other use cases, but let's take the example of Bob, and he's ready to go and make his phone first call in less than 15 seconds. One of the main things with Ring4 is that we have worked a lot to integrate it natively with the device. So the experience is completely seamless. Making a call, receiving a text is going to be exactly as you're used to do it with your personal phone. So you can see the example up here, how Bob is entering a text without even opening the app. So we are a team of 7 people. We have 250,000 users so far in the app. This is a core team with super experience with
Okay, well done. You can finish your sentence.
All right. And,
this is the core team. Yep.
Yeah, we have raised $225,000 from 4 angels, and we have raised so far in commitment $65K on Republic.com. Okay,
well done. Let's give him a quick golf clap. Ken, you want to go first? Some general feedback on the pitch?
I do. One of the reasons why I'm personally excited about the project is I do have 2 phones, and I hated the fact that my main cell phone number was open to the world. Just a quick question. So I thought it was very good, but the same thing, would love to hear a little bit more about your own background and your expertise in the space. And want to hear a little bit more on how this is different or better than like Skype, which also offers a separate phone line, as well as, Uber provides automatic second phone number to their drivers. When you talk to them, it's not the same phone number.
Not anymore, right? They've added that feature. Exactly. And just for general feedback, you left out the use case of dating, although it was in your deck. You said other use cases, and I thought you were kind of shying away from it. I think it's probably one you want to lean into because millennials and I guess single people in general would probably very much value having a phone number for first dates or second dates, and then maybe you let somebody after you've gone steady with them have your actual number.
Great point.
So that seemed to be a very compelling one to me. I think putting that you were featured on Product Hunt, be careful of soft metrics. Being featured on Product Hunt requires having an email address and signing up. So it's kind of what I call soft metrics. Whenever you can take out soft metrics and replace them with hard metrics and facts and technology, credibility goes up. And you have somebody on your team who worked for Text Me Inc., and somebody who worked at Netflix. So these are your ex-IBM person as well. So that might have given you more time to open up in other places. So just as a general theme, lower the stuff that has to do with non-core, high fives and stars and stuff like that. And the other thing is having this equity, having the crowdfunding you did already. I'm assuming that's a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo, non-equity crowdfunding?
No, it's a current, actually.
Oh, the current crowdfunding is already at 65. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things in the industry that we have to get some clarity on. When people say crowdfunding, I immediately think gifts for prizes on Kickstarter or something like that, or Indiegogo. So you're raising equity crowdfunding, you've done $65K, and angels have directly invested $225. So the question I would have right off the bat is, how many customers do you have, and what's the average price? So why don't you answer that one, and then you can get to some of Ken's questions as well.
Yeah, so we have 250,000 plus registered users, and we have basically a pipeline from these users. So it's a free app to download. You can try it for free. You can generate your first phone number for free. And then from there, you can decide there is like an ad-sponsored model where people who don't want to spend any money, they can just generate, do sponsored videos and stuff like this. Then you have like a prepaid credit system.
Right. But so 200,000 free users, to answer my question.
Yeah.
How many of those have converted to paying you?
About 6%.
6%. Yeah. So 12,000 customers you've had.
Yeah, like on those three models. And the last model is being subscription. And to answer your questions about
Hold on a second. Wait.
Yeah.
Because now you're kind of it sounds like you're hedging a bit. Of the 12,000, those are all paid? And they're not doing it through ad-based.
Yeah.
So 12,000 people chose to give you cash.
Yeah, correct.
Amazing. But that would be the
prepaid.
Number I would go with first.
The entry level is $1 for the first pack of credits. But
it doesn't matter.
To relate to your first questions based on dating versus business use case, I think this is actually an interesting question based also on the revenue models and the data that we have collected. And we were actually pushing more at the beginning the most disposable use case. But what we have seen in the data is that the most profitable users are the ones who are going to stay with you for a long time.
Sure.
And the revenue model based on subscription is mainly driven by business users. And that's why we believe is the future of the company.
Great. It's well done. I would lean into in future presentations even the dollar people, and then how you convert the dollar people to what's a monthly subscription to own it forever?
It's $9.99.
So I would be looking at that funnel, just so you know, in terms of how I would, as a professional angel investor, evaluate it as, okay, 6% converted to paying something, even $1 a month. Then of the $1 a month people, of the 12,000, how many converted to the $10 product? So I would talk about that funnel, because that will build credibility, even if it was small numbers, even if only 1% of the 6% wound up, paying the $10 a month. That would show something, and it would show that if you put more money into marketing or buying ads. So that'd be my last question for Ring4, which is, what's your best way to acquire a new customer? What is the most effective way in the paid world to acquire a customer for you
right now
today?
It's a mobile first experience, so your entry point to the ecosystem of phone number is the App Store, and right now the iTunes ad search is the most
so iTunes ad search works great. So you can acquire a customer for $5, $10,
70 cents
70 cents to acquire a download.
Correct.
And then if 6% convert, that would be times 20 or so, or 15. So 70 cents times 10 would be $7. So maybe for $10 you convert to a paid person.
Yeah, correct.
Got it. Okay. So, and just so you know, Ken, I always tell people, once you start doing math with investors, they're going to start doing math back to you. So be careful that you give them the right inputs.
No, Jason, if he manages to sell it to like Thumbtack and Uber, I think this would be a done deal. Perhaps you can make that intro.
Absolutely, I will. Okay, let's give him a quick golf clap, and we'll welcome our next entrepreneur. I am so excited that Campaign Monitor is a new partner here at This Week in Startups. Welcome to the family, Campaign Monitor. If you don't know Campaign Monitor, it is the easiest to use email marketing platform in the world. They have amazing mobile-friendly templates and a drag and drop email editor, as well as award-winning 24/7 customer support. It's used by over 250,000 businesses worldwide, and we started using it for our ad campaigns, and you're not going to believe this, but we tripled our open rate. We now have a 48.5% open rate with our first campaign, and that was in under 24 hours. And here's how it works. You go to campaignmonitor.com/twist, and this is us actually building it. You sign up for free. Again, campaignmonitor.com/twist, create an account, zip, and then you click on create a new campaign. And my CMO Presh names the campaign the launch scale invite, and he says, let's personalize it with the person's first name. Boom. Now he's going to pick one of these beautifully designed templates. There's so many to choose from, and they're all designed by award-winning designers, and he finds one he likes. We value your feedback, and he says you're invited to launch scale. He edits it. You see him go to Google Docs, cut and paste, zip, and Instead of completing a survey, he says, hey, I'm going to make this template my own. I'm going to apply for a free founder pass. You saw him zip into the footer and say, you know what? We focus on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And he puts that in there. You see him putting our sponsors in. And he actually works at this pace. He's a superhuman CMO, Presh. And here's the preview window. Beautiful. You can see what it looks like on mobile. Perfect. He picks what list he wants to share it with. And then he can schedule the delivery. Does he want to send it now or at a specific time? He's going to pick a specific time, Eastern time, tomorrow, in the morning, boom. And he can look at the worldwide view of people opening it in real time. The first person opened it in Arizona, and we can zip in and watch over time people doing it. That's how easy it is. And they have over 250 integrations in their app store, and you can connect it to your favorite CMS, your blog, or other third-party software. And again, in our first test, we tripled our open rate to 48.5% in the first 24 hours. You can easily set up A/B testing and figure out what works and what doesn't, and you can create these custom automated emails that you've probably been getting, where you send multiple emails over time to somebody in a campaign, All this stuff is available right now at a very affordable price. Go to campaignmonitor.com/twist, and you'll just go to campaignmonitor.com/twist. Listeners who sign up and become a customer will receive a free t-shirt. Once again, campaignmonitor.com/twist. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We've got another company here that is currently raising on Republic, and the name of this company is Hemster. You can visit republic.co/Hemster, Hemster, and this is the third and final company we'll be reviewing with Ken Nguyen from Republic. He's the CEO and co-founder, and we're going to guess at the end which one I've already invested in, or I'll reveal which one I've already invested in. You saw Balloonr, you saw Ring4, and now Allison Lee from Hemster. Allison, are you nervous?
I am.
Okay,
very much.
Good. That would be a healthy thing to be a little nervous. There's a lot of people watching. Your entire future is based on this.
Oh, wow.
120 seconds. I kid. No, just the majority of your near-term future. 3, 2, go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Lee. I'm the founder and CEO of Hemster. And we eliminate the most frustrating part of shopping, which is finding that perfect size by plugging in our next-gen tailoring services right into your shopping journey. So let's think about how we shop today. We browse like in-store or online, and we try our best to find the closest size. But when we actually try on the clothes, it just doesn't fit us right. And that is not our fault, because 89% of US population does not fit into the conventional small, medium, and large. So what do? We gotta travel to a local tailor where the experience is time-consuming and stressful. You have to pay in cash. You have to negotiate for better rates and quicker turnaround time. And you're not even sure if the tailor specializes in your garment. So current tailoring process is so frustrating that we often end up with piles of unwearable clothes in your closet with tags still on. Until Hemster. We bring the perfect fit to you no matter where you are in the shopping journey. For the shoppers, we have partnered with the biggest mall operators like Westfield, GGP, Simon, Macerich. So the shoppers are now getting fitted right in the fitting room as they try on the clothes. From our initial pilot with Westfield, we saw that Hemster benefits the entire ecosystem. For the mall operators, where we boosted their visitors and visitor engagement, and for the local tailors, where we increased their revenue, and for the retailers like Michael Kors, Outdoor Voices, Reformation, where we lifted their sales by 15%. And what if you already have unfitting clothes in your closet? Hemster can help there too. We have partnered with residential properties like Christian Heights and Greystar, so now you can customize anything and everything in your closet all at once. We're currently live with in-store and in-home services in San Francisco, San Jose, and LA, and we're launching New York City later this fall. And as we're growing nationally, Hemster is learning about your perfect fit data, meaning that not only do we know your body measurements, but we actually know your preferred styles. So with this data, Hemster is bringing the perfect fit to e-commerce, where the shoppers won't have to choose from pre-made sizes, but they're now choosing to customize everything to their personal sizes. We're disrupting readywear one hem at a time.
Okay, well done. Let's give her a quick golf clap. So I was unclear as to exactly how the product works. I understood what the output is, and I think I understand who your customers are. Your customers are both the brands that want to add this to their retail experience and the end consumers.
That is correct.
Okay, so I got that piece correct. What I'm unclear about is, from this presentation, is how does it work? Are you putting a Hemster or a tailor? Is a tailor and a seamstress the same thing?
Kind of. Seamstress is like tailor's assistant, I would say.
So are either of those gender-specific terms?
That is correct.
So a tailor is a man, a seamstress is a woman, is that right?
No.
Or they're independent of gender? So a female tailor would be a tailor.
Yes.
And a male seamstress would be
seamstress.
Still a seamstress.
Yes,
got it. Now we've learned something. Okay, so the tailors work for you. They're freelancers. They go to the store drops it up. You pick it up. I didn't understand any of that part.
Yeah.
So explain to us what the process here is.
Yeah, of course. So let's say if you walk into Banana Republic really quickly and you're like, hey, I want to try on these jeans. I don't want to buy them because it's a little bit too long. So instead of before where you would just walk out of the store, now the store associates are using our measurement kit to fit you in the dressing room. So that's all you know as a shopper. But in the back end, Hemster is the one doing the pickup and delivery from the stores.
Got it. So when I go for 7 For All Mankind jeans, they recently, the last time I went, offered to do it.
Yes.
They're not your customer, but it would be that kind of experience?
That is exactly right. And on top of it, next time you went in there, they would already know your inseam level.
Got it. So you're an outsourced tailor for brands that don't have
correct.
it.
That is
and
correct.
it's white labeled or it's...
We are not white labeled. So if you can see one from the dressing room. So this is kind of like the mirror sticker we have in every single dressing room that participates in our services.
Who are your tailors? Are your tailors working full-time for you at a central location in San Francisco, or do you outsource?
We are outsourced. So one cool thing about us is we verticalize each local vendors, meaning that they're incredibly skilled people, but they're not good at business or they don't have technology. So we know what they're good at in terms of if they're really good at suits, they should just do suits. If they're really good at jeans, they should really just do jeans. So that's how we prevent the leakage from our customers to the tailors.
What does a tailor make a year in a city like San Francisco
it's about
or New York?
$40K to $50K at most. So with us, they make actually 28% more.
Wow.
Fantastic. Okay, Ken, what are your thoughts on this business?
First of all, beautifully designed deck and very well delivered, but you have a lot of traction. Again, show a bit of that.
You do? It wasn't in the deck. What is the traction?
Visit Republic if you want to see traction
is it
in
on
numbers. Yes.
Oh, do you have to, are they behind a wall or something? Or side
No, not
you
at
can see
all.
them there. Okay, well then you can say them here. So give us a ballpark. What are you going to do in revenue in 2018?
2018, we are hitting 250K.
Great.
Yes.
So
and then we are
20K a month,
growing to a $3 million company next year.
Is the 250K the top line cost, and then you get a percentage of it?
That is correct.
So
and
what is your take of that 250?
Our unit economics is about 40 to 50%.
So if I'm going to get my jeans hemmed
don't calculate it.
for $20,
right.
Is that what it costs? $20 to do jeans?
It's about 10 to 15.
Okay, you get 5 to $750.
That's correct.
Every pair of jeans.
That's correct.
Well, it's going to add up pretty quick. And then for the person who's a tailor, they don't have to acquire the customer.
That is
the
exactly
work
right.
just comes in. So they save half the amount of time.
That's exactly. So they actually give us a huge margin cut, but they actually make more money overall because it's a completely streamlined process for the tailors as well.
Got it. Ken, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, as an investor, I'm drawn to products that I can relate to, and as a short Asian male, this very much relatable.
Wait a second, we're the same height. Does that mean I'm short? What just happened here?
At least
You're
an inch
killing
or
me.
two taller.
Wait,
but
you're
a
about
question in
6'1"?
my-
You're 6'1", 6'2", Ken? Because I'm 6'1", and we're the same height. I don't understand the
Only
difference.
5'9", 5'10". But my question is it just for women? Is there a plan to, because the entire deck there isn't a single men, right? So and the second one is that you have like one thing really impressive about your background. You raise or build a company from 20,000 to 20 million in revenue in your prior job in 18 months.
What?
And I think this should come up somewhere in at least 5 seconds. You should put it in.
Yeah. So you were a fentanyl dealer? How did you get to 20 million a year in 18 months? It hardly seems possible. You won the lottery? What is this crazy job that you built a $20 million business?
I ran a monetization team for a IoT startup before, and they basically collected about 1,000 times more TV viewing viewership data than Nielsen. So when I joined the company, they were about doing $20,000 in their revenue annually. And then when I left, they were doing about 15 million.
Amazing.
And that CEO is now my angel investor.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That's a big sign when you when you meet people who can collect their previous bosses, become friends, mentors, investors, or peers. That's a sign that that person is coming up in the world, because the person could easily be bitter that you've left.
Right.
And then gone on to your own thing and disassociate. But in some way, you were able to navigate leaving that company and them still feeling so good about it that they invested in you again. That is that's high praise in my book.
Thank you so much. And one thing to note about the gender split is we actually see a very interesting behavior change from women to men. So women tend to do one garment at a time. Men tend to do like 17
How did you know that?
So
it's because we don't care.
Exactly.
So what we do is we build up our ill-fitting clothes until the point at which it's completely embarrassing, and then we go and not dress
and
like.
You're like, hey, can you just replicate this fit? I don't even care if it's individually fitted to me. So
yeah, amazing. All right. Well, this has been great. Let's give a golf clap. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. And now, Ken, is the time for you and I to discuss not your favorites, but which one I've already invested in. Now, you know which one I already invested in. Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't?
I have a guess. No. I
makes
don't.
it
Actually, I don't know. Factually, I don't know. I have a hunch.
This is amazing. Okay. So
may I pick two instead of just one?
Well, here's what I want you to do. It's more exciting for you to take me through your process. So you're thinking now about which one would be the most attractive to me based on what you know about me or the interaction. So take me through 1, 2, and 3 and how confident you are that I'm an investor on a percentage basis. So first one was Amanda from Balloonr. How confident are you that I would have invested in her company?
Yep. So two metrics that I'm going to use to answer your questions or to play this game. One is your assessment of the team's ability to execute, and the other one is the size, the potential market size, because you want to obviously make a lot of X's.
Yes.
You know, huge return, not 2x.
No, 2x, 10x is done.
Balloonr's model is, the market is potentially huge.
Right.
Slack is a good example. And the fact that she's part of I think your class currently.
Yeah. So you know.
So so I think that's a promising signal.
Right. So we have invested in Balloonr. You got it right off the bat. But I will say, looking at the other two, I feel like Ring4's got a lot of competition, so I'd be a little worried about that being a commodity product, but I understand that they're also looking at enterprise and other things, so I'd like to see how that goes when they turn over that card. It'd be interesting. And then Hemster, sometimes you see a business that's so obvious that you wonder, why hasn't this been done yet? And sometimes the reason is it's incredibly boring and arduous to build this business. And therefore, the moat of the business is exactly how boring it is to build. Because you'd have to have somebody wake up one day and say, you know what, there's got to be a better way to hem these goddamn jeans. Right? And like the chances of that happening again are 1 in a million founders are going to wake up and have that thought. And then 1 in 10,000 of those founders are going to wake up the next day and say, that was not something I want to spend the next 7 years on, right? They'll come to their senses and be like, I'm not that passionate about this. So sometimes the boring idea can become a big winner. And I think that's where I would put Hemster. Ring4, obvious, clear path. People want it. The question is, how big can it get, right? Balloonr, to your point, obviously, like, big businesses have money to spend. And when you see Disney and BMW, you got to think, well, this founder's got something going on. So all three, I would say, are very fundable companies that all three are ones that one of them, Balloonr, is already in our incubator, and the other two would be on track to apply to our accelerator and do it. So this is pretty amazing, high quality. Well done.
I'm just thrilled that Republic's due diligence process, is not too far off of your own lens.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, when we started, we were very much looking to do earlier stage companies like you're doing right now. And then I think what happens to investors is that as they become more and more successful, they move a little further downstream because they have to write bigger checks. So right now, our average check size for a company coming out of our incubator, we probably put 500 to 2.5 million.
It's a lot of money.
On average, probably $1 million. So now that we're writing $500K, $1 million, $2 million checks, it's really because we have access to companies that are a little further along, where these companies would be, let's call it in 6 months or 2 years, somewhere in that range, they would hit that 100K a month range. And when you have 100K in revenue a month, it gets a lot easier to do these larger raises. So 1 out of 50 people gets accepted. Let me end with this. What can people do aside from making a world-class deck? You brought that up as like the first step. Where can they learn about what should be in a world-class deck and what makes up a world-class deck? Are there a couple of pointers on that world-class deck? Is it the design of the deck, the length of the deck, the research in the deck? What is it about a great deck that inspires people to take the meeting and perhaps fund?
Well, I'm in front of the expert, and you've put out a lot of excellent materials on it. But in my opinion, a good deck is one that's short, succinct, catchy, and an investor can walk away, remember 2 or 3 points, and want to learn more. Because ultimately, you're going to sell someone or close the deal, not just through a short pitch deck, but in many meetings. And this is just to get you that next meeting.
So one of the problems, I think, is when people make these decks, they make a 60, 70 slide deck, trying to be super comprehensive, which means each slide is less powerful because each slide is 1% of the overall picture or 2% of the overall picture. Whereas when you make a 10 or 15 slide deck, that is a teaser meant to demonstrate your ability to concisely communicate the opportunity. If you can't communicate the opportunity in 10, 15 slides, something's wrong with the idea or the founder, in my experience. And the goal of that deck, from what you're saying, is to get the meeting, not to go over the entire business in depth. So if you get the 10 to 15 slide deck, I find is the email deck, the get the meeting deck. In the meeting, you could expand to a 30, 40 slide deck, yeah?
Absolutely.
So really 2 decks is what you need.
Right.
The short deck and the long deck. All right, and then if people want to invest in the platform, any American can invest.
Anyone around the world.
Anyone around the world. But there are some guardrails that were put in place by the SEC. Explain some of the guardrails for equity crowdfunding. There's a certain amount people are limited to per year or per deal. Is that right? And there's a window in which they can pull out of a deal if they're not fully confident, right?
Indeed. So the SEC arbitrarily put out this metric that anyone, it doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're in debt, if you're a multimillionaire, can invest up to $2,200, no question asked.
Got it.
Above $2,200 per year, then it's a fraction of your net worth or income.
Got it.
Either 5% or 10%. But no one, not even you, can invest more than $100,000 on Republic. The SEC is saying if the Jason Calacanis of the world want to deploy $1 million into, Ring4, then he can go to Reg D, but this is supposed to be crowdfunding, so they capped you.
So they picked, at least for now, a starting point. And the SEC always has very good intent to try to protect retail investors from getting swindled out of their money.
Of course.
That's their goal. So if they give everybody $2,200, for me, what's nice about that number is even if the person was making minimum wage of 12 or 15 an hour, depending on the city, or maybe 10 is the lowest, it would be 220 hours of work for even the lowest paid person in the United States. So if there was a dishwasher or a greeter at Walmart making $12 an hour, the total damage is not going to be life-changing. It might sting a little bit, but it's not going to bankrupt somebody.
And the average investment in Republic is around $500. We have people investing $20, $30.
Yeah.
So it's quite affordable. And when you look at the $80 billion a year that Americans lose at the casino, and
Wait, what was that number?
$80 billion a year lose in Vegas, mostly from unaccredited. $70 billion a year is on lottery tickets, mostly non-accredited.
Well, if you put those two numbers together, we're at 150 billion, and there's 300 million Americans. So I'm not perfect at math, but that's a decent amount per American.
And if 5%, 2% of that money goes toward funding entrepreneurs like the 3 that you have on the show today, the world's going to be a good place.
Yeah, I'm starting a scratch-off ticket company, and what you'll do is you'll scratch off, and it'll be like, oh, one Uber, oh, a thumbtack. And if you get 3 in a row, you win a share in that company. It's my new scratch-off Silicon Valley lottery tickets. Oh my God, that would be a hilarious promotion, is a scratch-off lottery ticket, and scratch it off. All right, listen, this has been a great time. Thank you, Emmy Award-winning producer, and Tony, will miss you, Director Tony. Our time together was too short. Ken, thank you so much. Everybody follow Kendrick Lamar on Twitter, and then also follow the other Kendrick, Kendrick ESQ, Esquire, co-founder and CEO of Republic. They do a great job over there. We've had a number of companies go through it, and we highly recommend for our portfolio companies to try this. It is a great thing to do. I believe equity crowdfunding, even though it's nascent, it's early days, we're year 2 of this. I believe that if a company like Uber had early on had the ability to do this and offered every driver the ability to buy shares, those drivers would have then been in the same boat I was, which is to be lucky enough to invest in a company at 5 million or 50 million that eventually became worth 50 or 100 billion. And that could change people's lives. So I believe that equity crowdfunding has the potential to be as important and large of a business as the venture capital space. I actually honestly believe that.
Thank you so much, Jason. It's an honor.
Oh God, your parents raised you right. You're always so complimentary and well behaved, and you've got such great manners.
You've been so supportive of us, and the mentorship has been invaluable.
Oh, thanks. And we had a good time in Sydney. What was that restaurant we went to that was so amazing on the Sydney Opera House?
The most beautiful.
I forgot the name of it, but it was so good. I think it's one of the few Michelin star restaurants.
That would be, I think.
Yeah, what was the name of it? Anyway, we went to the restaurant inside of, with a couple of folks, the founder of Atlassian and a couple of other folks, in the Sydney Opera House. What a meal. God, and we'll be back in Sydney next year in June for the Festival of Lights. All right, everybody, it's been a great episode. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. Remember, Founder University is coming up, and we do Founder University. Our managing director, everybody knows that Jackie is the Emmy Award-winning producer of This Week in Startups, but she got a title bump, and she is now the managing director of education for angels and entrepreneurs here at our fund. And she runs founder.university, which is the front lines for us. The front lines is the podcast. Then the next in the funnel is Founder University. So please go to founder.university/November and apply. This one is for underrepresented founders. So if you're a cis white male like me, don't apply to this one. Apply to the next one. Don't be that guy. All right? We get a lot of things handed to us as cis white males in the world. We want this one to be for underrepresented founders. So if you feel underrepresented in the industry, this is for you. And I got to tell you, since starting this Founder University, it's been great for us because we have now, I think, doubled the number of female founders we've been able to invest in. And then for represented founders, we're hoping that this will help us double or triple the amount we find out there. And one of the really interesting things is when you do events specifically for different groups of people, they tell each other that this event is for them, and the word spreads and we get to meet more. So when we did Female Founder University, it was amazing. We found so many more female-led companies in our zone. So, diversity equals strength. You're very focused on it. My team and I are very focused on it. And the metrics are changing since we got to Silicon Valley radically.
You were ahead of the game. I think I remember AngelList back in 2013, and inclusion wasn't on anyone's radar, but it was on yours.
Well, yes, that's true, Ken, and I deserve a cookie and a star. So immediately when we get off air, I expect a cookie and a crepe. Because Disneyland, you heard it here first, thanks to Balloonr, is now serving crepes. So when you get to Disneyland, make sure you ask the person at the door where the crepe stand is. Tell them your Uncle Jason sent you. We'll see you all next time on This Week in Startups. Bye-bye.